Hello and welcome everyone to Expedition Online Glacier Bay. It's day 6. I'm Jonathan Knights. With me in the commentator booth tonight we have Chantel and Daniel. How are we doing tonight?
Good. Excited for tonight.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
We actually saw as the Seclusion Lake twist, the big twist of the season so far, comes to an end as Jess re-enters the game. She is voted back in by her other Seclusion Lake peers there. A bit of a shocker. I mean, she was definitely not the main name that was coming up. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I feel like when they chose her, their strategy kind of went out the window. Like, they basically picked her because they thought she was the least likely to go back. Which I was like, whoa, okay. I guess we're going to see what Jess is going to do.
And it's a complete wild card because we didn't get to really see her play for long enough for us to be able to gauge what her strategy is going to be like, what kind of game she is going to play. And so that's the same for the players too. They're not going to know really what to expect out of her. So it adds a nice little element of chaos into the game.
Yeah, I mean, this late in the game to have such a clean slate, it's going to be interesting to see how the player's going to take that. Because like you said, she went out in day 1. And we all know, I mean, the first boot never really gets their footing in the game. So to come back in day 6 now, it's going to be interesting to see how Jess can maneuver through this cast. She's gotten a lot of information over at Seclusion Lake with the Serrated Peak twist, which has not ended, and we'll have more information on that a little bit later. But she definitely picked up a lot of information in there, so that's going to be interesting to see. But we also saw as Neil would be voted out of the Red Party. It's unfortunate for Neil. I mean, the original Team Kelly party is really up against it here. Don't you think, Chantal?
Oh yeah, 100%. I was completely shocked when Mariana didn't really do anything to help him out. She was just like, I need to go with Janet. Like, this is my life on the line. If Neil has to go, then so be it. As long as I still have life. And I was kind of like, damn. I wanted to see Team Kelly fight a little, but I mean, unfortunately, we got short end of the stick, and it was his turn to go.
Yeah, survival mode. For sure. Big night tonight, as usual. Things are not going to go quite as the players plan, but for more on that, we'll send things over. Take it away.
Just sitting here putting a little addition on our shelter. Hopefully the party members will like it and they won't vote me out.
I feel pretty good with my party. I love that Mariana is in my party. Josh and Carl, two of the perfect best people to be in my party. From the other side with Olivia, I feel in a really good spot. There is so much to talk about with Mariana, and we just don't get enough time, and I have to be careful. I love Josh and want to work hard in this game with him, and I just can't decide between Josh and Carl or Olivia and Mike. Like, I'm gonna have to pick a direction sooner than later. And right now, I do not know what direction that will be, but I am leaning towards Carl and Josh. But it's really hard to say. I'm hoping that I can just kind of play the middle for a while, not have to worry too much. And Mariana as well, but lines will be drawn sooner than later.
I think I have Danielle already because Danielle wants to go deep with me. I think she's a little chaotic like me. I kind of like her. She's cool.
This thing is really throwing me off.
The what is?
The one-handed thing.
I know.
It's so much easier with 2, and I didn't think it would matter that much.
Surprise, everybody!
That looks good, Carl.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hi. Oh, just in time. We just got done counting our supplies.
I love it. Janet has popped in to say hi to you all.
Oh, it's Janet!
Hi.
Oh my God!
I
didn't realize.
Not just me.
Hello.
I just wanted to really stop in and see all of you. All right. What I want to say to all of you is this. I want you to really think about the fact that it's a new game from here forward. And and like I said, and I've said before, this is where relationships now are going to carry you forward as an individual. A swap is very unsettling. And personally, I don't care who you are. It's like, okay, what now? But what I want all of you to think about is embrace your situation. Now, you guys are at I think, a 4-2 split right now with original tribes into this new swap. And what I want the 4 to think about is don't get comfortable. Because the 2 are going to make it so they can survive, and they should. They should they have ways that they're going to talk and they're going to move. So I think everybody on this tribe really needs to think about the fact that don't close in your thinking.
Today's challenge is place wooded with cottonwood. You will need 20 cotton balls, 20 toothpicks, and a table or a countertop. Oh, and by the way, you'll be doing this challenge single-handedly. So if you're standing, you can just hold that other hand behind your back, or if you're sitting, you can sit on your other hand. The key to this challenge is to be the first to build a structure that stands on its own for 5 seconds. The trick is your base can only be made of 4 cotton balls. That's the only thing that can be touching the table are 4 cotton balls. And then you use your toothpicks and you can build it however you think is best, as long as the only thing touching the table are those 4 cotton balls that make the base.
All right, welcome explorers to the challenge room. Cog Wonton is getting their first look at the new Chukanady. Neil was voted out and Jess was voted in. We're down to our final 12 explorers. Congratulations, everybody. Drop your expectations. I have all of your names written down here. I'm gonna place them in the bag.
God.
I'm gonna seal it and I'm gonna put it over there because we don't need it tonight. Tonight, we'll be playing for individual reward, which means that you will all be competing against each other in this challenge. In addition, the explorer who wins this challenge will earn the rest of the night off for their party, where you will avoid our special crossroads. In tonight's crossroads, which 6 of you will attend, we will not allow any advantages to be played. Once you feel your structure is completed, call my name and your name so I know where to look, and I will count to 5. Your structure has to stay up for a 5-second count. At that point, the first one to finish wins. We will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
And they're off.
Yes. Very interesting competition from our challenge coordinator, Jess. Pretty unique here. So they have to use one hand. They're trying to build up a little tower here. We got a lot of different strategies going.
Josh, done.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Josh, show us that you have a base.
Oh my gosh.
So you can
He blew this away.
He crushed it.
Here's all of this.
Done.
There we go. That's it. Nothing under.
Wow, we put a 25-minute clock on it.
He had a base of 4 that was less than a minute.
Okay, so did a challenge actually happen tonight? Because I barely did anything, and all of a sudden the challenge was over.
I was kind of a bit annoyed that it happened to be a Team Janet player, because in the grand scheme of things, you've got Jess over there who literally just came back from being secluded. And so it's like, throw the challenge, vote Jess out. Like, super simple, super easy, right? Nope, Joshua wins in 50 seconds.
which means
Maybe the 25-minute limit.
okay. We're done. So I appreciate everybody.
Broke the challenge as far as I'm
Joshua
concerned.
has
That was
He finished in
Good
30
guys, less than
60
seconds.
that was
That
quick.
means that Joshua has won exemption for the party. So Chukanady, you have the rest of the night off. I will see Kagwantan at Crossroads, at a crossroads where you may not use an advantage tonight. No advantages. That's it. That's all I got for you. So go ahead.
Quick
Head back
as
to
it
camp.
gets,
We will
lots
do
of
Crossroads
strategy
in an hour.
time. All right, the fastest competition in Expedition Online history is it took all of, what was it, 34 seconds? Yeah, Joshua breaks the competition as far as I'm concerned, gets the win. He's going to pick up a half compass for his efforts as well as keeping his party out of harm's way at the special crossroads tonight. Who knows what that's going to mean, so... Really, the red party is going into Crossroads. Who knows what's going to happen tonight, right, Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how some of these alliances work out. We know from some of the past couple of votes that David and Katie and Haley have all really stuck together, so I wouldn't be shocked to see that continue, and they'd only need to pull in one more at that point.
Yeah, Chantal, I think it's going to be fun to see. We saw the other party go to Crossroads last night, to see this party go and what the dynamics are going to be. We've had Team Janet staying strong pretty much this whole game, but as we saw before, Janet's advice was to, hey, don't count these Kelly votes out. You need to bring some of them in to go deep. What are you looking to? Who do you kind of looking to run this vote here?
Honestly, I think that Philip is going to be running this show. He's going to be saying what he thinks. He's going to be driving the boat and getting out who he wants to get out next, honestly, because he's very opinionated and he doesn't hold back from whatever he's thinking or feeling. He'll just say it.
Interesting.
So
I mean,
interesting.
yeah, I mean he's down in the numbers, but like you said, he does have a strong voice, and so far, if he's had a target, he's kind of been able to sway it to that point. I think David as well. He's kind of been a little bit more in the forefront. Him and Haley, I think, have kind of been sharing the responsibilities a little bit strategically for that trio there. So definitely going to be interesting to see how it goes in, especially with the news that there are no advantages to be played tonight. Daniel, how do you think that's going to play into the strategy that we see this evening?
I think that you could actually take a little bit more of a risk when there's no advantages, because you don't have to worry about it being snuffed out and all of a sudden a compass ruining your day right there. You know, if someone like David or Haley, or perhaps the two of them, decides they want to flip, even if someone were to figure that out, you know, once you have the numbers, it sort of doesn't matter. You just put the votes where they need to go and you're good to go.
Let's throw things over to the players as they are right in the mix of their strategy time here.
This was a tough decision for me because I definitely did not want to win a exemption, an individual exemption, especially so close to a rendezvous. I'm typically against winning the first exemption, individual exemption, at a rendezvous, because it doesn't bode well for a lot of people who want to become winners. The first person who wins individual exemption typically doesn't win the season.
I've watched season 2, I think it's episode 6, and they can't use any advantages, and I want to say it's Gideon gets voted out but then sent to the other camp. So I immediately tell David, I'm like, I think that we are going to vote somebody into the other party.
Okay, so I'm with you and Haley. Yes?
I figured, yeah. Because, like, you guys didn't even have strategy. You didn't even have time to, like, establish trust and vote. So who do you think should the target be between...
Philip has an advantage, but he can't play it.
Yeah, so this might be the time to do it. But...
Potentially.
I almost wonder if, like, the reason you can't play... Like, I wonder if the person that we're voting for doesn't actually go home or something like that.
So I've been watching season 2, and this exact tribal council, they sent someone to the other tribe.
Interesting.
So I don't think we have to play this. Now, of course, like, they're going to assume people have watched that season, so they may not do that. So I'm not 100% sure how we want to play this, but with no advantages, I don't think it's fair to like kick somebody out of the game when they've earned an advantage to use.
And it also makes sense because they're like, don't waste your advantage on something that you're not actually in danger of going home, because it would suck to like play an advantage and then you're not even out of the game.
Right.
So that all kind of makes sense. Okay.
So I'm with you and Haley 100%. Like, I want to be able to have these conversations too, right? So like you, me, and Haley, like I'm good. I assume that the three of you guys have been voting together with Katie.
We have. I'll be honest, Katie is such a wild card.
So what do I need to know? Anything?
Honestly, I don't even know exactly what's happening.
So we're voting for the other team, and if I do any meeny miny mo, supposedly it's not gonna make a difference. If I do any meeny miny mo,
You're right. Between the two,
mm-hmm.
It should not make a difference. They're not allowed to play any advantages.
Okay, so that's what we have to do.
And then I think Mike and David are talking to each other, and maybe they'll get a chance to clue us in before it's time to go. But yes, it shouldn't.
All right.
It shouldn't make a difference, Katie. Hopefully.
I hope not. I mean, so far it's worked out like everything I've done. So keep my fingers crossed.
Keep it up.
Yeah, I was like saying, like, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So, but I hope. Well, they're going to vote for one of us. So if they both vote for. How many of us again?
There's 4 of us.
4. So there's 6 altogether, right?
Yeah.
So if 2 of them, so they can't vote us out, no matter what, right?
Right.
Even if they both vote for one of us, which they probably do, and they have to.
Katie can be pretty unpredictable. We've discussed that as a possibility. We discussed Bambi, just because we don't really know her much. I know Mike has kind of known you for a bit longer, and I do really like the vibes I'm getting from you. So I don't know. This is tough. Do you have any thoughts, or what do you think?
I mean, I like Mike a lot. I know if you're looking to get 4 people on the same page, I know Bambi would go with whatever people want to do. Because I think she's feeling outside of it. I talked with her quick, and she was of the mindset like she feels against the chopping block. And I think me and her being initially on Team Kelly, and also I think being solid at the competitions so far. I think we're feeling like definitely some pressure, but I think the only thing we think of, like, I can't think of. I really like Haley. I don't know Haley that well, but I can't think of a reason why I want to vote her out. Again, I think the only reason for Katie is that I would think about Katie is that, if I'm looking at people right now of who I think I could keep trusting and keep talking, I think I can trust Katie. But the problem is, I feel like she's so social with everybody, where once we got to the merge, our relationship with her, I feel like she's formed a good relationship with every person.
Yeah.
Which for me, like, if we make it to the rendezvous happens tomorrow, would rendezvousing and bringing Katie there help us? I think it could hurt. Versus Haley, where I don't know where I stand with Haley that much, but I don't think going and doing the rendezvous with her would hurt us. Where I look at you and Mike in particular definitely help. I think I can trust, again, I don't know Bambi that well, but she kind of immediately expressed an interest of like, I want to talk to Mike, because she hasn't talked to Mike since like day 0.
Dude, help me.
I missed you. Okay. So I want to protect you, Bambi. Like, I want to work with you.
Okay, great.
Some info from you though. And I be like, if you can be straight with me, great. If not, I understand too.
I am going to be completely transparent with you.
Okay. So Danielle, you and Olivia were all on a tribe together, or on a party together.
Yeah.
So you guys were all cool, right?
I definitely trust Olivia for sure. And
100%.
because Danielle had my back, like, I definitely
I have to like, keep that loyalty. And I'll say this, I haven't had to betray anyone except for Jess, and that was day one. Like, I kept my word.
So let me give you some insight. So here's my thinking. I just started catching up on season 2 of Expedition Online, and I got to the point where they do this exact same crossroads with no advantages allowed, and they send someone to the other party. So potentially, I'm torn because if that's true, I would like to send you, but I don't want to vote you out, so I don't want to get screwed over by doing something like that, right? So the potential plan is to do Philip, but that only angers him and sends him over to the other party, and then he's coming back after us, right? So, give me your insight, knowing that, and how would you want to play that? I know you don't want to go home. Obviously, I don't want to vote you out.
No, I'm worried because I think you, me, Philip, and David would be a strong 4 for especially after like Rendezvous. So I really want to keep Philip close to us. I don't know how you feel about him. Like, you guys were a part of a party, so like, what are your thoughts?
I like him. I like him a lot. I think that he and I would get along. I think we would work together. My honest allegiance is with you and Olivia, and so I want to make sure that like I can protect you guys. And Danielle became part of that, so I want to make sure that the 4 of us somehow have a way to the end. So how are you feeling?
I feel good as long as we're good,
Yeah, I'm not. I know you guys are probably like wondering about Philip and I. I'm not really with Philip. Philip thinks I might be with him. I want to work with you and David, like 100%.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I would like to bring in Bambi, but like I don't really know kind of where you guys feel with that.
So now this is a new layer of strategy where if this person is not going to be out of the game, we need to know where they're going to be and who they're going to be talking to if they're on that other party in the end. I'm leaning towards keeping Philip. What I said was keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. I think it would be better to have him on our side. And I wanted to send Bambi over to the other side. I like Bambi. And I didn't feel like it would be detrimental if she was on the other party.
How do you guys feel about Katie? Like, David kind of gave me a little bit, but like, what happened?
I don't know if there's words to describe it. I think she's just going to be like 100% loyal to whatever it is. You just don't know what she's going to say or where she's going to be.
Right. Like, I heard about the whole triple vote, like the 1-1-1 vote.
Oh, it was crazy. It was nuts. I was not ready for it.
So I'm showing this with you to show, I want to say like some confidence here, but I have a half a compass.
Half a compass.
Half a compass. So how compasses work is that I won the egg challenge, and so I got a half a compass. And so a half a compass, if you get one, you have to figure out who else has a half a compass, and you have to confirm with them that you two are going to be using the compass, and then you each have an immunity to use. But unless you and that person verbally agree and a mod is in there and you say both of us are using, this is our compass that we're using together, then it can't be played.
I'm just hoping that the other party sees the danger that Philip can be and how strong he's going to be in the individual portion of Expedition Online.
I think he's probably telling the truth. Because then I also asked him, I was like, why don't you want to try and find Katie if she has half of a compass? And he's like, oh, well, there's no advantages in this. So he kind of like played it off. And I was like, oh, he probably doesn't. He probably doesn't need to find Katie because he already has a full compass.
Yeah.
So, I noticed like he and it might have even just happened. He and Bambi went into a breakout room a little bit ago together.
Yeah, they talked.
And that might have been the first time they've been together since Philip got it. Oh man, I bet they both have one.
They can't use them tonight, so that's good.
Yep. So I assume you've talked to Mike. I guess
did just talk to Mike.
So I mean, it seems like the ball's rolling towards Philip.
We also we're leaning towards Bambi too.
Yeah.
I just want to say that Philip was treacherous. Like, he asks a lot of questions, and like he feels like he puts me on the spot, but all he does is get me to tell more crazy stories. And I do that as a distraction. And some of them are like, they're probably shaking their head. That's why they didn't think I could do the puzzle.
I think I'm definitely on the chopping block.
Uh-huh.
I feel pretty confident in that fact. Let's say, do you have a sense of who you'd be able to vote for if the whole group is not voting for me, or is the whole group voting for me?
I don't know exactly what they were talking about. Because Katie, I think she's a wild card. Like, I don't think she likes to talk strategy at all.
Because if me, you, and Mike voted for Katie, I think Katie's voting on a wild card basis.
Yeah.
And then she'd be voted out. And Mike said he'd be okay with that. He doesn't want to vote me out, but if the numbers are there. So I told him if I was voting Katie, I would put a pencil in my ear. And if I was voting for someone else, I'd put a pencil in my ear to try to figure that out.
And I have no idea what the actual plan is.
Kagwantan, welcome to our special Crossroads. Tonight you will be voting for a player on your party, and no advantages can be played. Haley, I got the rare chance to drop into your camp today before the challenge with Team Captain Janet. How was her visit received, and how was her message received?
I mean, it's always great to see Janet, and I think what she's really trying to say us is, even though there can be like an obvious play, it's not the only play.
There's some other twist coming, I think.
There's another twist coming?
Her message was kind of cryptic, and I wish it was all about forming relationships and forming bonds with people. And so I think there's going to be something else that I don't know how it's going to come into play, but she was very clear that she was delivering some sort of cryptic message. At least that's how I interpreted it. So I guess that doesn't make it clear. It was unclear, but she was delivering some type of unclear message, but it was clear she was delivering.
Very clear that she was confusing. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think also, like, this is a game about connections. And so just because, there's Team Janet and there's Team Kelly doesn't mean that other connections haven't been made and other relationships are not there, right? So I think part of her message too is, keep all your options open, keep all your doors open, because you never know what's going to happen.
But David, Mike mentions Team Kelly, Team Janet. We've actually had a swap in between that swap as well. So are we still talking about day zero parties?
I mean, anytime you have a chance to build a relationship with someone, a relationship can be built. So it doesn't matter if that happened day zero, whether that happened Team Janet, whether that happened after the first swap or right now, Yeah.
So Bambi, your party won the challenge yesterday, so you had a lot of extra time at camp. What was that like to have that extra hour of bonding, and how much of a difference does it make? I mean, this is a fast-paced game, so how much of a difference does that make to actually get some downtime with your new party?
I mean, I think it makes a big difference. And like last night was awesome. Like, we all got to bond. I got to learn so much from everyone, and like just hearing Katie's stories, man, like I could literally listen to her like for 24 hours, like stories like up the wazoo. Like, it's kind of amazing.
Well, Katie, I don't know what we've had more of in this game, party swaps or location swaps for you. How do you navigate, and what advice do you have for everybody else navigating the party swaps and the changes that we've been throwing at you?
Don't think too much.
And don't think too much for an answer.
I don't know. I just go with the flow.
and
All
play
right.
your game. Like, don't worry about. I was saying, don't worry about other people and who's gonna win and who's gonna like. Just be like, just play the hand that you're dealt right now. Like, play it like, as like I was saying, like a poker game. Like like right now, this is a hand. In 10 minutes, it's gonna be another hand. So don't try to. You don't even know who's gonna be in your hand. So just play your cards and the hand at hand.
Haley, was this a lot of everybody talking to everybody?
I think for the most part there was a lot of shuffling around. It was a little hard with all the rooms of two and how long like some groups would talk to actually be able to get in with everybody.
I think some of us were still telling campfire stories, but I there was still a lot of camaraderie. I think there was still a lot of us trying to figure out where we all sit with each other and trying to navigate those relationships that we have built. So yes, but I think much more strategy talk today for sure.
So Philip, we kind of touched on this a little bit. You're coming into this swap. So far, the original Team Kelly has been on the wrong side of the votes most of this game. Does that concern you?
Definitely. I think you kind of get the feel from people kind of when you're on the chopping block, and so definitely have gotten kind of that feel, both openly from some people, as well as not openly from some people. In terms of, I think some people trying to conceal gameplay, other people trying to kind of just be honest about certain situations, and so it's been kind of unique in terms of definitely feeling like I'm on the chopping block, not just because of the Kelly numbers, but I think just in general. I've been fortunate enough to be on the side of a lot of wins, so I haven't had to gone through too many of these deliberations, and I think there's something to be said about going through a deliberation with people. Trying to do my best here to highlight that, I think that I'd really want to be somebody that people would want to play with, somebody that they can trust, and also that, at the end of the day, I think, when you're looking at close relationships that you can form and people that you can, take further in this game once it gets to the rendezvous, because that's for me really when the game starts. And so you're looking for people, again, as I'm not necessarily on the right side of the full scale numbers, but I felt like I've built some good relationships here, but some good relationships on some of the other teams too that can hopefully, bring together and look at like a core group of people to take, further and develop those relationships further.
David, we made it clear that we're not allowing any advantages at Crossroads tonight. Did that come up at camp? Is that part of the conversation?
Yeah. A lot of it is the conversation as to why that wouldn't be the case. And, there have been people here that have watched previous seasons of Expedition Online that have kind of theorized what that could possibly mean from prior seasons.
Care to share any theories?
I think everyone has already been privy to this information, but in a previous season, the person that was voted out at this type of special council switched parties.
And everybody thinks that's what's happening tonight?
It's a prevailing theory.
So here's the rub, right? Like, you're looking at this as we're voting somebody out, but if we think we're voting somebody to the other camp, that's also there's also strategy to that. There's also things that you're weighing in and out. So regardless of what happens to this person at the end of this crossroads, it's going to damage relationships. It's going to make things chaotic.
You kind of weigh what do you have to gain versus what do you have to risk. If that is the case where you vote somebody to the other team, will they hold a vendetta? Do you want to risk sending a potentially really good player to the opposite side, and then that works as a disadvantage against you later because you've sent that person in?
Is anybody worried tonight? Anybody worried right now? Would anybody like to plead their case before we go vote?
All I'm saying is Crossroads is a half an hour earlier than tonight. We're about to vote right now when there's still an hour left in camp time. So I think there's probably a twist coming. So whoever gets sent out is most likely at least from my perspective, probably still has a chance to be in the game. I know my name's on the chopping block, and so if I was like super dramatic and angry and this is for $1 million, I'd probably say like, you don't want to vote for me because I'll come back with a vengeance. That's not me, and that's not the case. But I think at the same time, I do feel like I'm pretty strong from a strategy perspective, pretty strong from a challenge perspective, and I think, you probably would want, if there's a challenge next week, you'd probably want me on your team, or challenge tomorrow, you'd probably rather have me on your team than on the opposite team.
Anybody else want to plead their case?
I mean, I guess I will. Like, I also think I'm a strong player, but I mean, you can't kill Bambi off, right? Overall, like, I don't have any hard feelings. Like, whatever happens tonight, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, it's a game, so you got to play the game.
If nobody has anything they'd like to add, then it is time to vote. Let's go vote. All right, I have all of the votes. Normally, this is where I would say if you have any advantage you'd like to play, this would be the time to do so, but we're not allowing advantages because we're not voting somebody out of the game. Instead, we are voting somebody to the serrated peak where they will stay until tomorrow's challenge, and they will rejoin this party in the challenge. I will read the votes. Our first vote is for Katie. Our second vote is for Bambi. That's 1 Katie, 1 Bambi. Our third vote is for Bambi. That's 2 Bambi, 1 Katie. Our fourth vote is for Philip. That's 1 Philip, 1 Katie, 2 Bambi. Our fifth vote is Philip. That's 2 Philip, 2 Bambi, 1 Katie. And our final vote is for Philip. Philip, you are going to spend the night at the serrated peak. Do you have any last words before you depart your party?
Honestly, no hard feelings about this.
All right, thanks, Philip. Why don't you stick around here and we'll explain more to you. Everybody else, back to camp. You actually have the opportunity to introduce a disadvantage into the game. You have to give this to somebody in the party, in your party. They lose their vote at their next crossroads.
Got it. So I mean, the only person that would make sense for me to knock their vote would be David. I think David I led the charge on me being voted out.
All right. Well, thank you. You will rejoin your party tomorrow when the challenge begins, not before. So we will see you tomorrow.
So obviously, you're a really strong player, and I am threatened by you. But I have to go where the numbers are, and it's you or me, and I have to choose you.
Today could have been pretty terrifying.
Are you unmuted?
Had my suspicions, if my suspicions are correct, and both Philip and Babby have idols, compasses, then it's kind of lucky that we got this twist. And as much as I like the guy, I am going to be.
My vote tonight is for Bambi. Bambi, this is not against you as a real vote because I fully believe that you are going to end up on the other party, and I would love to work with you later.
All right, so I just started writing names, but it's like Philip and Bambi, so I'm gonna do like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So if it's like 2, I know like if you start 1, it's usually the other or whatever. But now I wrote them like a bunch of times, so like I can really truly do eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? So all right, here we go. Okay, eeny, meeny, miny, catch a tiger, if he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Aw, with Bambi. I'm sorry, Bambi. But I did it as fair as possible. I didn't even do 2 names. I wrote it all a bunch.
Okay, so this was a really, really tough vote for me. I'm playing strategically based on what I think I know. Sounds like there's some idols out there that I want to split up, and also I'm hoping that this vote helps me rather than harms me. That being said, I voted for you, Philip. I know our Five Guys Alliance is kind of falling apart, but I do want to work with you, hopefully future, if this is the true twist. If not, it was a pleasure playing with you.
Again, I don't want to vote Katie out. I think I'm on the chopping block, and probably everyone just came in here and held up my name and talked about, wanting to vote me out.
All right, so with that, another twist is exposed as Philip, although he received the most votes at Crossroads, is not voted out of the game, voted over Serrated Peak, where we all know anything can happen. What do you guys think about Philip's fight there at Crossroads? I mean, Daniel, he really put up a fight, didn't he?
He really did, and I'm curious to see what that means for him for the rest of the game. On the one hand, he'll be seen as a stronger competitor, which can kind of cut both ways, and it was a very different tactic than Bambi took, which ended up working out for her, where she kind of sat back a little bit and tried to not make herself as much of a target. So very interesting contrast of styles.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next go-to, is I thought Bambi also really stuck up for herself once she realized that everything Philip was saying was kind of pushing it over to her, as Team Kelly has really realized, Chantel, at this point, that they're fighting for their lives right now.
Yeah, 100%. They need to go at it. They're on the bottom of this party.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting how they move forward now with Philip going to Serrated Peak. He picks up, not really, a bit of an advantage for himself, as he is able to negate a vote. As we just saw, he negates David's vote. He was stressing how David seemed to be the one who was kind of pushing the charge there. But he's going to kind of be able to say whatever he wants. And Chantel, that can be kind of the advantage of going somewhere like Serrated Peak, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Any type of advantage that you can use to benefit yourself in the game, technically he can sit pretty, even if they do go to Crossroads.
Yeah, and
It's going to be great.
right? Information is power in this game, and what information he decides to share from that, it's going to be interesting. Philip's a savvy player. He already has a half compass, so even just bluffing it and saying he has something different, who knows kind of what he's going to do about that. It's going to be very interesting to see how things play out in day 7. I think we're just about ready to put a wrap on day 6. It's been an exciting day. We don't lose any players. We are going into day 7 with these 12 explorers.
Philip's hot and heavy on the trail. I can't believe you guys let his ass back. But I'm still going with what Janet said at the beginning. Maybe she changed her mind. I don't know. Maybe she could say something. They said she said a little something, but I don't know. Like, who else do we get rid of? Like, he's a pain in the butt. And he's a little fibber too.
What people don't know is that I was given a disadvantage that I can put on somebody else. And so, I put it on David, because David, out of the group, I think is a very strong player, but also not on my side. And I think because we probably have a little bit of a similar game, but at the same time, he's not going to know that. So that's a pretty big advantage to me. So if we do somehow lose the challenge tomorrow, which I'm not planning on doing, then he loses a vote. And my plan is to get Bambi and Mike on my side, and then David's out, because we have 3, and then they'll only have 2 votes. And I think that'll, hopefully get me pretty safe. So unless I can't convince Bambi and Mike tomorrow, which I should be able to, then I'm sitting in a pretty good position, actually.
I didn't really take it as the night off last night. I kind of wanted to secure myself, I want to go deep in this game, so I took it as an advantage. So, I'm just going to secure my relationships with them, use my social game, and, keep everybody laughing. I have a couple beers, keep everybody laughing, the fun guy. It's all part of the master plan, y'all. I said it once, and I'm going to say it again. I'm just getting started here. I'm about to show you who's going to reign.
Today's challenge is interglacial stumps. You will be solving a series of rebus puzzles. Rebus puzzles are puzzles that contain words and picture clues that you need to put together somehow to make either a word or a phrase. Before the challenge begins, each explorer will need to pick a number to determine the order in which you will play. I will display a rebus puzzle on the screen. You want to be the first person to correctly solve the rebus puzzle by writing down the answer on your whiteboard or your notebook and holding it up to the screen. If you are correct, you will earn a point for your party. The party with the most points after 15 puzzles wins exemption. I hope you don't get stumped by these puzzles.
Welcome to the Challenge Explorers. Before we get started with our next challenge, Philip spent last night at the Serrated Peak, so let's get him back in here. Somebody bring Philip back into the room. Hey, Philip.
Hey, guys.
Welcome back. So, Philip is here. That does mean we still have 12 explorers in the game, 6 in each party. Joshua has an excused absence, so we do have 5 explorers for Chukanady, 6 for Kagwantan for this challenge, but there are still 12 explorers in the game. Today's challenge is called Interglacial Stumps. The party with the most points will avoid Crossroads tonight. The losing party will see me at Crossroads, where they will be voting somebody out of the game. I also have something to share with you in the turtle box. Let's save that for after the challenge, shall we? All right, let's get started. Our explorers have numbered off 1 through 5 for Chukanady, 1 through 6 for Kagwantan, and we will be going in order. So let's get the ones up here. Everybody else, cameras off. Here's the first one, go. Icy is correct, not Ice Cube. Icy. Philip gets the point for Kagwantan.
Great job, Philip. Nice job, Philip.
Good job, Philip.
All right, let's get our twos up here. All right, we have Jess
You got
for
it, Jess.
Chukanady, Mike for Kagwantan. We're going to start in
Good luck,
3,
Jess.
2, 1, go. Trail mix is
Mike.
correct. Mike has got a point for Kagwantan.
Yeah, Mike.
Heck yeah,
2
Mike.
for Kagwantan, 0 for Chukanady. Let's get our threes up here. We have Olivia for Chukanady, Haley for Kagwantan. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Correct. Olivia got that one first. Chukanady on the board. That's 1 point for Chukanady, 2 for Kagwantan. Let's get our fours up here. All right, we have David for Kagwantan, Carl for Chukanady. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Got it.
Up for grabs is correct. David.
There you go, David. Big one.
Scores the point for Kagwantan. It is 3 Kagwantan, 1 for Chukanady. Let's get our fives up here. We have Danielle for Chukanady, Katie for Kagwantan. We're going to start on this 5th puzzle in 3, 2, 1, go.
Can you see it?
You say 1 million. You both say 1 million. That's not correct.
Oh.
One in a million is correct. Danielle got that for Chukanady. After 5 rounds, it is 3 to 2.
Oh, 1 in a million.
Kagwantan with the lead. Okay, we have Bambi for Kagwantan and Mariana for Chukanady.
Come on, Mariana.
We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go.
I understand.
That's correct. I understand.
I have to stand up.
Bambi.
Kagwantan with the point. It is 4 to 2.
Nice.
Nice job, Bambi.
For our 7th round, we have Jess for Chukanady and Philip for Kagwantan. We're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Eggs.
Philip was the first with scrambled eggs. Kagwantan has 5 points.
Great job.
5
Job.
to 2. Okay, we have Mike for Kagwantan, Olivia for Chukanady in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Olivia has, are you in trouble? Are you in trouble? That is not correct.
Oh.
You are in trouble. Olivia is correct. It is you are in trouble, not are you in trouble. Although it probably
Good job,
should have
Olivia.
counted. Olivia got it right both times, so
Bravo, Olivia.
Chuka gets the point. It is
Good job.
5-3. Kagwantan. Okay, we have Carl for Chukanady, Haley for Kagwantan. In 3, 2, 1, go.
I can't see it. Hello. Hello.
That is incorrect, Haley. Carl, I don't know what to say. I mean, what's wrong? That is not correct.
Carl, can you see it?
Yeah. Is this correct?
Carl, no, Carl's not correct, and Haley's not correct.
All right, but is it submarine?
It is not submarine. All right, I'm gonna give you 15 seconds, starting now. If nobody gets it in 15 seconds, we're gonna call it. Okay, that's 15 seconds. It's travel overseas. Not 7 seas, it's just travel overseas. So nobody gets the point for that round. We will go to our 10th round. All right, after 9 rounds, the score is 5 for Kagwantan, 3 for Chukanady. Our next explorer is up. Danielle for Chukanady, David for Kagwantan. We are gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Out of the box?
It is thinking outside the box, not out of the box. So David gets that. Okay, so that's 6 points for Kagwantan, 3 for Chukanady. Okay, we have Katie for Kagwantan, Mariana for Chukanady. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Crossroads.
Crossroads is correct. Chukanady with the point. Mariana
Good job,
got
Mariana.
that first. They both got it. It was now 6-4.
You got it, Jess. We're so close.
And Bambi versus Jess. It is 6-4. We are going to do the next round in 3, 2, 1, go.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood is correct. Bambi scored the points
Bambi.
for Kagwantan.
Good job, Bambi.
That's 7 points for Kagwantan.
Awesome job, Bambi.
Let's get Philip versus Olivia up here. The score is 7 for Kagwantan, 4 for Chukanady. We are going 15 rounds, which means 1 more point for Kagwantan, and they will put it away. We have Olivia for Chukanady, Philip for Kagwantan in 3, 2, 1, go.
Ice cream?
Ice cream is correct. Kagwantan has won the challenge.
Nice.
8-4. All right, congratulations, Kagwantan. You have won the challenge 8-4, which means you will not see me tonight at Crossroads, but we did promise we'd check back in with the turtle. So here's the turtle box. Let's see what the turtle has for us today. A little note. The note says, the winning party must choose an explorer from the losing party to go to the serrated peak. This explorer will rejoin their party after Crossroads, which means they may not vote and they may not receive any votes tonight. So we will let the winning party, Kagwantan, discuss who you want to send to the Serrated Peak.
Is Joshua not going to be at Crossroads either?
He's going to be there. He had class.
Josh is in the game, and he is eligible to be voted for tonight.
Mm-hmm. I'm still out here in the woods looking for one of these compasses, and I'm batting 0. I can't find them anywhere. I have no idea where to look. But apparently this serrated edge has something to do with advantages or something, and maybe I just gotta go there. Yo, I'm outnumbered, man.
How so?
How so? I got nothing but women here, dude. You know what I mean?
You can't work with the ladies, Carl?
I love the ladies. I'm a ladies man, but goddamn, I'm scared for my life.
Also, I'm fine with Carl going. I don't care if Carl goes. I don't know what everybody else thinks. I'm just talking. How you guys feeling?
I don't care who goes either.
I'm fine with Carl going too.
We're all being very agreeable, and we're all saying that we're fine with everyone else says. Do we have a consensus?
Yeah, I'm good with Carl.
All right. I think we're going to do Carl.
Okay, so Carl has asked to go to the Serrated Peak, and Caguantan has honored his wishes. Carl, you know that we don't like to send people over to the Serrated Peak by themselves if we can help it. I said if we can help it.
Spent the whole night there alone.
I mean, I didn't say we never do it. I said we don't like to do it. We felt terrible about it. So, Carl, why don't you pick somebody from Caguantan to join you at the Serrated Peak? This explorer will not return to their party until after Crossroads, the same time you return to your party. Both of you will spend the entire time until after Crossroads together at the Serrated Peak. Carl, who you bringing with you?
I'm gonna take Mike.
Okay, Carl and Mike are gonna go to the Serrated Peak. Chukanady, I am gonna see you in 1 hour for Crossroads. Caguantan, everybody but Mike, you may head back to your camp now. Chukanady, everybody except Carl, you may head back to your camp now.
All right, and with that, Caguantan wins exemption and is avoiding Crossroads with a huge victory, 8-4 victory. Rebus puzzles must be their thing. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, they blew him out of the water there, and now Philip is safe again. So pressure's on at Chuk.
Yeah, and so Chukanady, before heading off and strategizing, Caguantan chooses Carl to go to the Serrated Peak. Shane, any insight as to why you think they chose Carl?
Well, I think one big reason, which is interesting though, is that Carl put his name out there and said, I feel in trouble, save me, send me there. And I don't remember who, but someone was like, why are you in trouble? Because he's in a seeming majority based on original party lines. But watching his confessionals, he realizes that like all the advantages are coming from Serrated Peak, and he wants an advantage, and he wanted to go there. So I think that was on his mind, and why they chose him, I think because he was the only name that kind of put himself out there, they just went for the easy choice.
He does still have alliance members on the other side that do want to take him to the final four, so they'll give him what he wants.
And could one of those people potentially be Mike? He chooses Mike from Caguantan to join him at Crossroads. That seems like a tight little bond that they have going on there. Mike doesn't seem upset with going with him. We got to vote somebody out of Chukanady. So any final thoughts before we let everybody strategize and really get to this heated 5-person Crossroads that we have coming up?
You know, it's going to be interesting. Like, especially Josh missed the challenge, but he is seemingly in the majority alliance. And then we have Jess, who came back. Will they send her packing again? It'll be interesting to see what their strategy is.
Yeah, well, without further ado, there's a lot to get to. So let's throw it over to Chukanady and see how things are turning out.
I also won half of a compass, and as you can tell, I would need another half to make a full compass, which was very interesting because I had to, obviously I won the challenge and everybody knows I got some advantage. So I basically just came out to my party and said, hey, I got half a compass. Everybody knows that's what you're getting if you win some kind of reward, whatever. So we have a feeling that Philip has at least half of a compass. My intention was just to get people to feel like they can trust me and that I trust them, which is not necessarily true. I only really trust a handful of people.
Danielle, don't vote for. Don't vote for.
You're not the vote no matter what. Me and you are not the vote no matter what.
I'm just making sure.
I think we should vote Jess out. I don't even think we should vote Josh out. The thing is that sucks is, okay, I see two sides here. We either vote Jess out because she has a compass and we want to get a girl out, because Josh will stay loyal to us if we do that. Or we vote Josh out because he is a power player.
I am controlling, but I am not directing, if that makes sense, because I don't want to be the forehead or the commander-in-chief, because my name will be out a lot more if there were another serrated edge or anything like that. So that is something that you have to consider, which is not really ideal at this point.
But the guilt of voting him out right now, given his situation, is what's hurting.
No, and I'd rather, honestly, Danielle, I'd rather go with whatever you feel. Like, I barely know Jess. Like,
personally, I don't really care. I care because I feel bad about Josh, but I'm thinking, like, if we keep Josh, Carl and Josh will probably, like, and Josh is super smart. So, like, he is going to be a target and someone that people are going to go after. Like, Jess is just a number to people. Jess will be a number where people are like, let's get Jess to work with us because she's a number, as to where Josh is a power player and people are going to be like, let's take out Josh before they take out me or you.
yeah.
And if we vote out Josh, all four girls, they're also going to label us as working together as all four girls. As where if we vote out Jess, it's going to look more divided and we're not so solid, because we do have a girls thing, even though I don't know if Bambi knows about it, but me, you, Olivia, and Bambi.
Yeah, like, we don't really need Jess.
No,
because we already have numbers, I guess, like, without her, you know?
Yes, and I mean, I feel... the thing is, though, like, I don't, at the same time, there's pros and cons to both, because if she is as loyal as she speaks she is, hey, that's another girl to our numbers. And if she only says she has a half, you have a half? No, she only has a half compass, right?
Yeah.
But there's the only chance that Carl comes back, but, like, they're going to work together, the two of them with their compasses, and probably not want to help us, but it's hard to say.
I had a great one-on-one conversation with Carl, and I had one with Josh, and both of them indicated that they wanted to work with me, and, well, that's a good for me. So I have, like, two people I can work with for sure. I'd also really like to work with Mariana, but I haven't had any chance to speak with her or Olivia or Danielle alone, so that's a little inconvenient, but hopefully I can talk to them.
How do you real feel?
Like,
we should keep Jess, or do you feel like we should take out Josh?
I think
Mariana. I mean, the thing is I feel like we have a thing, me, you, Mariana, Bambi, and I'm hoping Mike when we rendezvous. So, like, I'm not really on board to go Mariana, but
no, me neither. And I was trying to talk to Jess because I got the vibe that she didn't want to vote out Josh, but I got the vibe she didn't want to, but she didn't want to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to, like, figure out what she was gonna say, and she was just like, she was like, yeah, like, I feel bad getting rid of Josh when he's not here, but, like, we don't have another option.
I feel the same. So I was talking to, I think it was, who was I talking to yesterday? I was talking to somebody yesterday, or it was to Jess, and I think Carl jumped in, or somebody jumped in because we were just chatting wherever, and she ended up talking about, like, we're talking about, like, being with the girls or whatever, like, no specific names or anything. But then she's like, yeah, I'm usually one of the boys, though. So I'm, like, the girl that's always with the guys. And, like, I'm thinking to myself, you realize you just said that to another female? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she might lean towards the men more, which is, like, unless it's me, you, and Mike, like, see ya.
Yeah.
And I feel like Josh is going to be such a big threat that people would be wanting to get him out before they're going to want to get, me or you out.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking, what if Jess and Josh are going to play their thing tonight together?
Well, they both got something? Josh got
They each have a half compass.
They both have a half compass?
Yeah.
We'll have to play it correctly on one of them. Josh won't play it. Unless she gives it to him to play on Josh.
No, he will play it if she goes and tells him, like, the girls all want you gone.
Basically, the girls are at the beginning. I mean, obviously, it was a discussion. Well, we'll just have to vote out Josh because it's four
Right.
girls. I mean, of course, that discussion is going to come into play here. And everyone knows that you have a half compass and that Jess has a half compass. And either way, the girls want to make Jess think that it's you. And if anything, that so that she thinks it's you, and even if she offered to use the half compass, that would depend on if you agree to it or not, because then it would be wasted. But actually, we want to, me and Olivia, and Mariana's with us, want to vote out Jess.
Okay, that's no problem as long as obviously not me.
The thing is, when we go into rendezvous or whatever, Jess has been with other people and she'll be a number to whoever, as to where we feel good with it. Obviously I'm not taking, you and me have been the closest, so for me,
Absolutely.
I vote you on is
Yeah,
and I haven't even spoke to Jess. I've only had a chance to spoke to Mariana and Olivia.
We have Jess on our party, which is a huge advantage for us as well because she's got all the past information. So I made a point to connect with her as much as I could.
I'm not feeling too good with the last two conversations I had, so...
Oh no, what did they tell you?
It was a whole lot of nothing. You know, the kind of stuff where they say, well, we don't really know, but it's... So when somebody says they don't really know who to vote, it typically means they know who to vote, they just can't say it to me, right?
Are you hearing my name at all? Because I feel like I'm about to be blindsided, to be honest.
No. They didn't even push for you, which is surprising because, I feel like, if they were being genuine with me, they would have said something, said a name or whatever, and it's kind of upsetting because these are the people that I, started the game with at least, and now it's kind of like...
Sure, I was about to be blindsided. I was just like,
Right.
That's what I'm expecting at this point.
I don't think so, Jess. I really think they would have pulled me in on it if they wanted to. I mean, I guess compass or whatever, but
I've been blindsided before, so I'm used to it. Yeah.
But even if we feel like something's happening, we have an opportunity to do something about it. If they put all 4 votes on one of us, we have a 50-50 shot of doing something. So
what would the backup plan be if it is one of us? Because then somebody else has to go up.
Right. I have no idea. I mean, you've been on. I don't know. There's not anybody that I don't trust more or trust less than anybody else because, we've only had easy votes. So
look at it like this. So, who do you think would be the best assets to keep around? Because whoever goes home, you want to keep strong players.
Right.
You want to keep people that you can trust.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't have any relationships, so I'm paranoid and scared and terrified.
For me, the easiest person to say is Mariana because she doesn't have as much a connection to me as I did with Olivia and Danielle.
Carl, you're missing Crossroads tonight. Mike, you're missing camp time tonight. It's not fruitless, though, because we have a game for you.
Oh, okay.
I have 2 urns here.
Oh, no.
You guys each pick an urn.
I want to take the one on the left. The darker one.
Carl wants this one.
Yeah.
So this one's for Mike.
Great.
That one's for Mike.
Okay, who wants to open their urn first?
Mike, you
Carl
go
can
first.
No, you go first.
Mike,
All
you go
right.
first.
I'll go first.
Okay. So this one was Mike's.
Yes, that's Mike's. Mike,
Okay.
you got the compass. You got the compass, buddy. I need it.
Congratulations, Mike. You have found a half compass.
Okay.
Good job, Mike.
So Mike has a half compass in the game. Carl.
Carl,
I hope you also have one.
This is yours. Sorry, this urn is empty.
Sorry, Carl.
All right,
But
gentlemen.
listen, you know I've got it. So
that's the game. You guys will be here until the end of Crossroads, at which point you will rejoin your parties in your party chat.
I really wasn't sure what was going to happen, so I kind of volunteered myself to go to the serrated edge, and I chose Mike to go with me because I thought he would give me more information than anybody. Mike did give me a clue, and I confirmed the clue by, claiming it to Shane. But it's got me looking all over the internet. I've learned so much about Mount Denali, let me tell you. But I found everything but the advantage. Anyway, good talk. I got to know, what the dynamics are on the other tribe. I wasn't completely honest with our dynamics on our party because kind of made it feel like there was like a big girls alliance, which there may be.
I am not feeling good about this.
What did Josh say to you, Mariana?
Yeah, so obviously Josh said like my name because obviously like who else is he going to target, right? Like so Jess thinks that Josh is saying my name. So I think Jess may go with Josh. I don't know.
We split the vote. If Jess is gonna vote Josh and if one of us vote Josh and two of us vote her, even if they vote two, it'll tie vote, and then we re-vote and three of us we'd have majority regardless.
Do that just in case they play the thing.
Welcome, Chukanady, to Crossroads. Tonight, you will be voting the 7th Explorer out of the game. Let's start with Joshua. How much time did you have at camp? Like, when did you arrive at camp?
I probably had a solid 40 minutes, so probably about 20 minutes after we actually lost or something. So I don't know, but it was, a decent amount of time, but I really missed out on that first 30 minutes before exemption. So it's rough, but gotta.
Yeah, right now, do you feel like you're sufficiently caught up, or do you feel like you're still behind the curve?
Caught up in talks, yes. Behind the curve in the game, also yes.
Danielle, the turtle decided someone was going to miss Crossroads tonight, and the other party picked Carl. Whoever gets voted out tonight might regret not speaking up and begging as much as Carl did. He was very vocal. I know that you spoke on a different topic, but he was very vocal about needing to be saved. Was that it? First of all, was that smart move on Carl's part?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anybody is pretty much walking out with some. So, I mean, everybody knows that, though. So, I mean, that's either a pro or a con. You can look at it both ways. Yeah, it was smart on Carl's behalf. I was kind of hoping they were going to take me because, I mean, I'm always up for a free advantage.
I want to go to Olivia first, and let's talk about Carl's comment about being outnumbered by the ladies. What did you make of that?
I mean, I feel like it's like, yes, it is obvious that he is outnumbered by the women, but I don't think the only reason that people align with each other in these games is based on gender. Like, there are many reasons to form friendships with someone, relationships with someone, like form trust in people without it just being gender. Like, you can form a close relationship with anybody. So I get what he was saying. Like, I would be insecure if I was the only girl on a tribe of a party of a bunch of guys, but I don't know if like there was much truth to what he was saying.
I'm on record saying building an alliance based on gender is very lazy gameplay. So it always sparks in my ear when I hear somebody saying that that's their concern. I'm always interested in the party dynamics. Are people hitting the reset button every time we shake things up, or are we still playing a day one game with just new colors and new teammates?
I mean, at this point, I hope it's a reset. I mean, there's only 3 Kellys left, so I'm seeing it as a swap. I mean, not a swap, a reset. Just because at this point, like, we have to individually figure out which few of us can go to rendezvous and work together, rather than let's get out all the Kellys. And who knows, maybe that's the agenda. Who knows? But I'm gonna hope that it's a reset, and I could me and Jess, because I mean, Jess and I, we're really outnumbered on this drive, and they can go Janice strong and save each other and get one of us out, or we can reset and see. They can play who's best for their game too. So.
You mentioned the discrepancy and the voting patterns. How do you navigate in the game seeing that? How do you approach your conversations?
You just have to take it as is and make the best relationships that, you have to just show why, like, I'm sure Jess is doing the same thing. Like, I'm trying to, like, show, like, why I should stay and be a good, asset for their game. So it's just, like, making those relationships. Like, I know I'm on the bottom with me being a Kelly, so, like, I need to try to make those relationships. Like, that's all that it's going to come down to at this point is how do our relationships feel with Team Janet. So.
Yes, you had a different path. You started out Team Kelly, but then you spent a lot of time at the lake. What does it feel like jumping back into the game and trying to gather information? Do you feel like you missed out on a lot and you're catching up on the game?
I definitely missed out on a lot. I didn't get to form the connections or the bonds with any party or anyone in particular. So when I came back, it was genuinely like I was starting day one again. But that could also be a good thing for me because I haven't pissed anybody off. So I don't have any blood on my hands.
Sure, I mean, the thing about these games is no matter what your story is, your path is, you can use something to your advantage. So it's just a different story. It's just a different path. Joshua, do you feel like Jess is behind the curve as far as information is concerned, or do you feel like everybody is in one way or the other behind the curve because swap stories aren't coming out, or there are some secrets from the swaps?
In my humble opinion, she's actually ahead of the curve because she has gotten a lot of intel from the people who have walked out of this game and have already been eliminated.
Does anybody want to plead their case? If you feel like you're left out or you're nervous, does anybody want to take this opportunity to just say, hey, here's my case?
I've talked to a lot of you. I think you all know what I want to do, what I'm hoping happens tonight, but I don't know. We never know when we're going to rendezvous. We thought we were going to rendezvous for the last 3 rendezvous. And I feel like after today, I'm going to be as active as possible and I'm going to be an asset. I feel like I've pulled my weight in previous exemptions, so I'm really hoping that you take that into account. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing it right now. I'm losing the motivation. I hope you take that into account. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I know I'm a Team Kelly girl. I mean, not that I'm Team Kelly anymore, like whatever. But at this point, I definitely feel like I'm a options. But I hope I made some great, genuine relationships with you guys. However, if you think it's just better for your game to get rid of me, I understand. But I really hope my time with you guys in the rooms meant something, and I hope I can be an asset in the future with like a physical comp or something.
Danielle, what's the vote about tonight? What's the most important factor going into the vote tonight?
I don't even know. I guess my mind's just went in the route that I think is the best action, and that's what's gonna happen for my vote.
Yes, what's the most important factor for your vote tonight?
Try not to make waves as much as possible. I want to try to do what's best for my game and best for the team. It's a difficult position no matter what. I mean, it could be me, Realistically, it could be me. So.
All right. Well, does anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we vote? All right. Well, with that, it is time to vote. So let's go vote. All of the votes. If you have a hidden advantage that you'd like to play, now's your last chance to play it. Okay, I will read the votes. Our first vote is for Jess. Our second vote is for Joshua. That's 1 Jess, 1 Joshua. Our third vote is for Jess. Fourth vote is for Joshua. That's 2 Jess, 2 Joshua, 1 vote left. Our fifth vote and our seventh explorer voted out of Expedition Online Glacier Bay is Jess. Jess, do you have any final words for your party?
No, thank you for having me back, guys. It was great.
All right, Jess, I'm sorry. Your expedition has come to an end. It was fun having you. Chukanady, you can head back to camp. Jess, we'll keep you here and have a conversation. Good night, guys.
Welcome back to the commentator's booth after another fun night where, unfortunately, we lose Jess for the second time in this game to a 3-2 vote. Jess and Mariana vote Josh, but Olivia, Josh, and Danielle vote Jess. No advantages are played, and she is the 7th explorer to go home. Shane, what are your thoughts on Jess's play overall?
I think Jess should be very proud of herself because she went from seemingly 18th place first boot to 12th place, so that's very good. I would have expected a little more fight out of her based on her confessional. She was really into it, really motivated to do well and make a lot of social bonds, and I think she had a game plan, but her game plan didn't account for having to go to Crossroads. She hoped that they would have some more time. She just didn't have the time to play the social game that she wanted to play tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happens when you're, in the game, out of the game, in the game, out of the game. So she had a tough uphill battle to climb there. I mentioned Mariana was the other Josh vote. Jess, it kind of seems like she just did that in case of an advantage. I think she'll be able to play that fine. I don't think Josh will harbor any ill will, but any thoughts on Mariana putting a second vote on Josh?
Yeah, I think she was just covering her bases in the event that happened since she was the other names were not there, and sometimes when your name is like the fake vote, it can actually be you, so I totally understand why she did that. But
yeah, it's going to be really interesting moving forward now. The game is going to continue to shift, so we're entering the halfway point. I'd like to hear from both of you on somebody that you're really looking forward to in the second half of the game as we approach the rendezvous, to be determined when that is.
So for me, that player is Mariana. On the surface, it doesn't look good. She's down 8 original Janets and only 3 original Kellys. But I think that she's really integrated herself socially with a lot of people. She has very good strategic play, very good game awareness. She's willing to go down with this, or to not go down with a sinking ship. So when Neil was voted out, she voted for Neil, even though that was someone she would have liked to work with. So I think her ability to pivot on key situations and to have all of these social bonds is really going to get her far in this game. And she's someone that I could see at the end, at the final ascent.
oh yeah, 100% agree with Mariana too. I also am excited to watch Danielle. She has been playing very well so far. I think most of the people from her old party and the new party think that Danielle is their number one. It was interesting watching her play today. She was flat out lying to Jess the entire time, and she was doing a very good job, and she was even setting up the stage for Josh to snag the compass from Jess, which didn't go through on his end, but she was just laying out moves for other people, and it was really fun to watch. She's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, her chaotic energy is kind of fun, and somebody I think is kind of bringing the same. My player to watch right now is Carl. I think Carl has made great inroads with a lot of people. He's talkative, and everybody kind of knows that he's going to talk your ear off, but his chaotic energy seems like it's in a pretty good control right now. I'm really interested to see if the bonds that he made are able to stick it out. I think, whenever Carl's in a situation, it's going to be fun. It's just a matter of if he can, manage that threat level to make it further in the game. So I think that really covers tonight. Very fun night. We're about halfway, like I said, so I think we can call it a night here. So for myself, we have Shane and Jess with me, and this has been day 7 of Expedition Online Glacier Bay. Peace.
I know Josh is a huge threat and should be leaving this game, but I need huge threats in this game above me more than I need somebody that might go another direction and be a number. So, fortunately, I am voting Jess out tonight.
Josh, I'm sorry.
Oh, goodness, golly gosh. I know what I want to do. I know what I am doing. I am voting for Mother Hen tonight, Miss Jess. The reason I want to vote for you tonight is because it's my option. It's my only option. I'm not actually nervous, but I have to play nervous because if you happen to have something, I want you to feel like it's either going to be Mariana or me and not you at all. And I think the other three have been lacking on that. I think I did a decent job, but if I'm voted out tonight, I'd actually be shocked. And this would be some good TV, so.
I'm gonna say Josh, but only because I don't know what's gonna happen, and I want to make sure no compasses are played or half compasses. So I'm just gonna technically throw it on Josh.
I feel bad because you just got back in the game, but 7th boot is a lot better than 1st boot.
Welcome in, explorers. Before we start our next challenge. How's that? We're starting over.
Up the phone, sorry.